I think the key here is what we're investing in, right? It's not so much about the tax itself. I'm a business owner. I will pay these taxes. I voted to raise my own taxes, but it's because of the investment.
Nevada Assemblyman Paul Anderson speaking with the Las Vegas CBS affiliate after the battle-born state passed the largest tax increase in its history. Republican Governor Brian Sandoval signed that tax increase into law on Wednesday. Now, Nevada is one of many states highlighted in a recent Bloomberg article featuring GOP leaders who have signed Grover Norquist's no tax pledge, but now some of those leaders claim it's hurting the GOP. However, Grover says that's just a leftist angle on a much larger issue. And with that in mind, let's call on our good friend, Grover Norquist, the founder and president of Americans for Tax Reform. Grover, welcome to Newsmax Prime.
Good to be with you. What's interesting is if you look at all 50 states, Republicans, both in governorship and in state legislatures, are doing quite well. Arizona, the incoming Governor Ducey was left with a mess of overspending by the previous governor. He wrestled that to the ground. All the beautiful people knew that you had to raise taxes because of the mess that he'd inherited from the previous governor, and he said no. He reined in spending and is now talking about a plan to phase out the income tax, the state income tax in that state. The governor of Texas and the state legislator of Texas are cutting taxes $3.8 billion over the next 2 years, despite the drop in the price of oil and natural gas, which you think might cause them problems. Florida is cutting taxes again with Rick Scott. North Carolina has just announced a new set of tax cuts to go along with the previous income tax cuts. They're working on phasing out their individual and business income tax over time. Governor of Maine, LePage, Republican, has announced it's his goal to phase the state income tax out to zero.
Duly noted, Grover. So obviously, there are a lot of people who are still holding the line on taxes, yet Bloomberg's article mentions Louisiana with Bobby Jindal, Alabama with Robert Bentley, and the aforementioned Brian Sandoval in Nevada. People who signed your pledge yet are raising taxes. Your reaction to what they've done?
Sure. Let's take them one at a time. Nevada. Nevada, the governor did not sign the pledge. He said he wouldn't raise taxes. He ran a campaign implying he wouldn't raise taxes. But he tried prior to this reelection. He put a measure on the ballot to raise taxes, and it was defeated overwhelmingly by the people of Nevada. He ran for office silent on the tax increase. Soon as he got elected, he grabbed the legislature and threatened them, and a lot of pressure was put on people who had said they wouldn't raise taxes, and unfortunately, he got a measure passed that he knew the people had rejected. He basically had to fib his way back into office, and then he raised taxes. He says he had to spend all this. This is new money. This is not some sort of problem they had. He's dramatically expanding spending. And what's sad was he also did actually a very good thing. He signed a bill to create an education savings account, as Arizona has, and Tennessee, and Florida, and a number of other states, which is a great school choice reform. If you do that, you don't need to throw more money at the failing parts of the public school. You can get them to be more competitive. You mentioned Alabama. There you had a Republican governor who was elected 4 years ago. Because he signed the pledge, he would never have gotten elected without making that commitment. He ran his campaign saying no new taxes. As soon as he got elected, within days, he announced a well-written, completely thought-through, massive tax increase for new spending. There's not some sort of crisis he was responding to. He wants to spend more money. The legislature in Alabama has told him no. So there's a fight. These are not Republicans
and to that fight,
wanting to raise taxes.
Let's move from the state-by-state litany to the national projection. You mentioned what went on in Alabama. I think back to George Herbert Walker Bush in 1988. Read my lips, no new taxes. He reneged on that. We saw what happened to him. What of his son, former Florida Governor Jeb, now wanting to run for president? Is he going to sign your pledge?
I certainly hope so, but so far he has said no. His brother, George W. Bush, signed the pledge, helped him win the election, the primary and the general, and he kept that commitment for 8 years. 8 difficult years, by the way. There are a number of challenges there, and he still didn't raise taxes. He tried to focus on spending, not as much as he perhaps should have, but he didn't raise taxes. Jeb Bush did not raise taxes when he was governor. He should feel very comfortable signing the pledge.
But here's the problem, Grover, and I remember at CPAC 2 years ago, Jeb said, hey, we have to look at everything, including tax increases. We'll keep an eye on Jeb and all the candidates. Grover Norquist, we thank you for your time and setting the record straight. And Newsmax Prime will be right back.